What's up guys, the Methodical Show here, and in today's video I'm going to ask the question that anybody who's watching the final season of The 100 this year would be asking right now, and that question is, where the hell is Bellamy Blake? The first time we saw him this season, which was right at the very opening shot of the season, when he was mourning Octavia's supposed death, he was then attacked and dragged away, and that was the last we seen of him in that whole first episode, and that would be the last time we'd end up seeing him until the 5th episode of the season. Remember, this is the male lead of the series, who, before this, barely missed an episode of the entire series. Now, before the premiere, I saw a lot of people on the internet getting a little anxious, thinking that Bellamy was possibly going to die, because a lot of things were being teased by people who got to see the first 4 episodes, and one of the things that all those people teased was that we weren't going to see pretty much any Bellamy, and from their point of view, we didn't. They saw the first 4, so they seen him in the opening shot of that first episode, and then they just never saw him again. So then they hinted this to the fans, and the fans kind of took it and ran with it, that Bellamy was going to die instantly, or that we were just never going to see him again for some odd reason. And now we're 6 episodes into the final season, and we have seen Bellamy again. We've seen him at the very end of the 5th episode. He was wearing the same attire and everything else that he wore when we saw him in the premiere, and then we saw again his supposed death. Now, pretty much anybody with a brain watching the show knows he's obviously not dead. Come on now. They're not going to kill off the male lead like he's a red shirt. What we do know, however, is that Bob Morley asked for time off. Now, it does suck that he asked for this in the final season, and we're 6 episodes in, and then the 7th one is going to air tomorrow, and he's not in any of the promotional stuff. He's not in the sneak peeks. We could still see him. He wasn't in the 5th one either. He wasn't in any of the promo shots or anything like that. So he could be in it, but it's incredibly unlikely that he's going to be. So that marks pretty much the halfway point of the season, and no Bellamy pretty much at all. Some people on the internet ran with the idea and theory that it's possible he had a dispute and a falling out with Jason Rothenberg, because we have heard things like this in the past with Rothenberg, with Ricky Whittle, and then fans think there was some falling out with him and Alicia Debenham Carey, which there isn't really evidence to support that. There is a little bit to support the Rothenberg and Ricky Whittle stuff, so I don't know really what happened there. If you believe Ricky Whittle's side of it, there was some pretty bad stuff there. So people kind of went with the idea that Bob Morley and Jason Rothenberg had this type of dispute as well, which is entirely possible. I'm not ruling that out at all. They don't follow each other on Twitter anymore. Rothenberg never tweets about him whenever he's praising the cast. He always praises Eliza Taylor, he praises Richard Harmon, but he never really praises Bob Morley, and they don't follow each other, which again is kind of weird. Now, the one scenario that could possibly happen with this whole Bellamy thing that would outrage fans so much is if we didn't see Bellamy pretty much anymore until the finale, and then he's in like a few scenes to end this series. That would be awful. He needs to play a major role in the final season. He's the male lead. He's been so much for this show since the very beginning, and if he doesn't play a vital role in the final season, it will feel not right, really. It just, with how the whole series has went and him being such a lead character, and if he's just nothing in the final season and then he's just there at the end, and that won't really sit right with a lot of people who've been following the series since the beginning. But with the 7th episode airing tomorrow and him most likely not being in it, and then the 8th episode next week is the prequel episode, which I understand, or I think anyway, will feature a bit of Clark and that group. I don't think Bellamy's going to be in that episode either, when it's going to be so heavily focused on the prequel and maybe a little bit of Clark in them, but that'll make literally half the season, and we've gotten a total of like 2 minutes of Bellamy Blake. Now, it's possible that he returns in the 9th episode or the 10th, and then we get him heavily featured in the final 8, or the final 6 anyway, and that would be okay if he really does play a vital role to the finale and the end of the show. And if he doesn't doesn't appear in the next two, then with only 8 episodes left, there's so many things that still need to happen for that particular character. There's so many moments that we need to see, whether he even lives or survives the show. So many reunions he needs to have with characters like Clark and Octavia. So many things need to happen with Bellamy that if we don't get him pretty much the whole next half of the season in a lot of scenes, we're going to feel cheated a bit with that character, I think. So to answer the question, where the hell is Bellamy Blake? I guess we're just gonna have to keep watching to find out. He went through the anomaly, through that explosion, we can assume. I highly doubt he just evaporated. At this point, all we can really be left to assume is that he's definitely alive and kind of just being kept away because the actor took time off. I don't know where he is in the storyline, where he would be, what planet he went to. I don't think he's went to the ice planet because they just left there. They didn't find him, so I don't really see what the point of that would be. I think we still have a few more planets to visit in the future episodes, so we may find him on a different planet, one we haven't even seen yet, and it's really just as simple as whenever Bob Morley decided he wanted to start filming again, that's the next time we'll see him, I guess. But until then, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, leave a like, leave a comment on when you hope to see Bellamy back, probably as soon as possible, as he's a very liked character. And leave a comment on whether or not you think Bellamy will survive this season or not, when he does eventually return. And subscribe if you want more 100 content for the new episodes and such, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.